Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures, and today we're doing another episode of a Jurassic World Evolution 3 mod spotlights. We will take a look at some of the wonderful mods people are making and compare them to the real life fossil counterparts. So today we've got a little bit more in terms of our Narwhaler remasters. You know, we've got a lot of them pumping out. But we've got some other cool things that we get to talk about as well. We've got a new species. I'm going to try and tie each one of these with a new species. I think that's probably the best way going forward. I know Master Dude is particularly working on some new species. So I'm quite excited to get stuck into that as well. There's another one's coming out, doing some testing for him as well. It's going to come out really nice. I think it'll be a good headliner as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many of these we can get out before Frontier decide I have the ability, because I know there's probably some legal things, because I know everyone's heard about what's happening with, you know, the no April free animal and stuff like that, or free dinosaur. Let's be honest, it's probably just something to do with Universal. It's some legal things, so whatever they can sort that out, whatever, we will just carry on with these. So we're going to be starting off with some Narwhaler remasters. So this first one we got here is the Microceratus.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Microceratus to the park.
Oh, pause it. There we go. So here you can have a look at these guys. So you can see, you remember the old kind of fugly design, you could probably say. It was very, Dominion, old Jurassic Park style. But I really got to say, Narwhaler really did a great job with this remaster. You can see it's got much more of a rounded face. It fits a lot more with what we actually know of Microceratus. Or I believe Microceratus is actually a defunct genus. It's actually Gracilceratops, I believe, now. Don't quote me on that. I don't have a reference up, so I probably don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So you got there, you can see you got the proper frill going on there, and a much more rounded face, much more accurate to what this guy is actually more like, as well. Much more of a leaner, meaner body, and you can see there's much larger arms as well. Correct fingers and stuff like that as well. I'll come a bit closer and come around the side. It's a bit easier to do it when you can zoom in, like that. Have a look there. Looks came out really nice. Really big fan. And one thing I really like about this design as well is that the male, this is the male one here, does have a little bit of a nub. I don't think the females have that. No, they don't. On the frill, unless that's just artifact in my eye. No, I think that's actually the other side. No, I think it might be. Well, it could be. Might be a little artifact or something. But anyway, well, what's really, really cool, we've also got here, this is the quills of Psittacosaurus. Psittacosaurus is quite famous. The well-preserved specimen has these quills. And I really like he made that an artifact of being on the male. So this is the male with those quills, and the female is kind of the one without the quills. So it's a cool way to introduce some very interesting sexual dimorphism. And I'd say it fits pretty well with the colours as well. Looks really, really nice. Like, the Narwhaler remasters at the moment don't seem to be hyper accurate, but they definitely reflect the more accurate enemy a lot better. In a lot of cases, and this is definitely one of those cases. That's why I haven't covered the Pyroraptor, because obviously there's really not many ways to make that Pyroraptor accurate unless you shrink it, and same with Velociraptor and stuff like that. But yeah, really, really cool. Definitely a big fan of that. So, really cool remaster by Narwhaler. We'll have a look through there and let them actually run out. They tend to like do their little animations right in front of the hatchery, as they always do. So yeah, Narwhaler has made quite a few of these mods. I'm pretty sure we've got at least next 10 parts or so. We'll have at least 4 or 5 to show off. But I'm really excited to also have a look at some of the new species that are coming out by Master Dude. There's definitely a lot of really cool things coming out. That Baryonyx was a great way to start off JWE modding. I think personally it was really, really awesome. So we're just going to let them run off and do their thing. Definitely love some of the updates there. I really hope we get some good updates for the next one as well. They definitely owe us a bit. So next up we've got Nodosaurus, which is also done by Nodosaurus done by Narwhaler. This is quite a cool one.
We are pleased
This
to
one,
welcome a Nodosaurus to the park.
yeah, it's actually based off not Nodosaurus. Nodosaurus is not that well known, I believe. This is actually based off, and so was the original design. The original design was based off Borealopelta, which is a really, really amazing design. It was the kind of the best preserved dinosaur we probably know of to this day, or at least one of the best. Especially for animals like Ankylosaurs, it's so beautifully preserved. I would say it's probably the most impressive, or one of the most impressive discoveries of the last kind of like decade or something like that, or the 2010s at least. So I think it's a very, very impressive specimen. But you can see here, it's definitely made some nice changes to it. I really like the patterns on this. It actually fits the counter shading as well, because we do know the colours. We know that Borealopelta itself would have had counter shading, so we would have had a more, lighter belly and a darker back, which, that's how counter shading works, breaks out the outline. And what I really like is they actually made the spikes actually fit as well for the male. So this is kind of assuming the normal specimens are male. So we know from looking at the keratin preservation in the Borealopelta specimen is that very similar to modern bovids and other modern animals with horns, is that the keratin covers an extra half of the bone core. So if you have a meter long spike or a meter long horn, the horn would be like 4 or 5 feet long, or about it would be the half again. So instead of being 150, 100 centimeters, 150 centimeters. So that's kind of how it works. And it seems to be pretty consistent with ankylosaurs and bovids, so it's pretty reasonable to assume that. I'm going to say you can see the updates of the face really matches the Borealopelta specimen quite well. And what I really noticed as well, I'm sure any avid paleo people will notice this, the back colours here, you can see that going on there. That's based a lot of Julius Chittini's original press release for the Borealopelta. A really well accomplished paleo artist, definitely a big fan. We'll definitely see more of him a little bit later. He's actually done some official art for Jurassic World, and we'll be hopefully seeing some of that soon. Wink, wink. But yeah, that's really cool. This is the male, and you can see this is what he's done with the female. So keeping the same pattern. It's cool that it translates quite well. But you can also see here that it is like a lot smaller than the females in the females. So I think that's a really cool way to give it sexual dimorphism. I think that's an extra really cool element that this game is trying to do with the sexual dimorphism. You can actually try and give more extravagant designs, and I think that's a great way of doing it. Narwhaler always knocking it out of the park. It always does a pretty good job. So let them run off and do their things as we do, and they're going to do, of course, their social animation right in front of my hatchery. I really hope in the updates they do manage. They have to there's a cooldown or something, like they can have to walk this far away from the hatchery before they actually do a animation or something like this. But that's all right. We'll just let them walk off and do their thing. Luckily, we've got fast time. This doesn't say blocked by dinosaur. No, we'll leave it. We leave it a little bit longer so they actually have a chance. I don't want. Okay, now we'll do it. So this is another remaster. This is by Narwhaler again. This is the Apatosaurus. Man, how can you not love the sauropods? They always look so majestic when they come out of the, out of the hatchery. But yeah, we've got some definite updates to this guy here. So this is the Apatosaurus. You can probably see it's also, the textures are a little bit of an update as well. A little bit still looking quite good. You've got the face here. It's definitely had a bit of a change. Fits much more to what we actually know of Apatosaurus. This very boxy, diplodocid look to it. And you've also got that neck that has been, greatly emboldened, or you could say, try to create a new word. But you've got this really bulky neck that they're famous to have. They've got these very large, big chevrons along the side of their neck vertebrae here for, stuff like that. So really, really cool that we got to see the Brontosaurus in there. As well, the Apatosaurus. I really like how they changed the body as well. Narwhaler did a really good job with that. That really big, round body. That's kind of one of the things with Apatosaurus. It's got this really, really high back and this round, very characteristic of the species. Very 90s. It's actually a better updated version of the, if you compare the Dominion one to the Jurassic World Evolution one, you can see it's almost got like thunder thighs. It's just these big feet that look like columns. This makes it fit a little bit better, not only to the actual animal, but to the movies. Even though it still has the wrong feet, doesn't have the horseshoe, and, there are no nails, and these guys should have only 3 nails, not 5. Yeah, that fits as well. And you can see as well, as I keep saying, I've said it multiple times, but Jurassic World tends to make their dinosaurs' tails way too short, a bit too boxy, but you can see quite well exemplified in this Apatosaurus as well. And you can see this is the bear one. This looks straight out of Peter Jackson's King Kong. I think they did a pretty good job with this one. It'd be actually pretty cool. I know the Skull Island pack, that was a pretty interesting one. I don't think they had a Brontosaurus for that one. Might have to go have a look at Jurassic World Evolution 2 and have another look back at that one. Yeah, we'll let them run off and do their thing, because Apatosaurus be apatosauring. They're going to do their social animation. It's always cute to see them do their socials. We like animals being friends, of course. Alright, so they're running off doing their thing. Next up, we'll have a look at the last of these large herbivores remastered by Narwhaler. We have got Therizinosaurus. This is quite a cool one there. So let's have a look at you.
Therizinosaurus to the park.
There we go. In the light, all beauteous. So we can have a look at this one. So this is Therizinosaurus. If you guys recall what it looked like in the movie, it was literally kind of just very long body. Just looked like a theropod with basically looked like a Dominus with a short tail and a ornithomimid neck. But this actually fits much more accurately the anatomy of Therizinosaurus. Not quite 100%, but, pretty close. It had a very big, round, rotund body. It's a herbivore. It's got so much space for its guts so it can ferment stuff. We also, if you look at them, there's a lot of convergence with ground sloths as well. They've got a very tall and a very big pelvis as well. Quite short tail too. And you got that long neck, and we don't know. We do have fossil remains from the skull of Therizinosaurus, but they have not been described yet. But this fits pretty close on, I would say, potentially, without even seeing the specimens, they haven't been described. But I think the biggest change as well, you can see that keratin has been greatly extended as well, and fingers have been changed too. So it's pretty spot on with modern Therizinosaurs and modern Therizinosaurus reconstructions. And what I really like as well is the feathers, as this came out quite well too. I have mentioned before talking about the 3-ton rule. It's not a published rule or anything, but often it is kind of thought that the kind of upper limit for feathers is if animals were getting over 3 tons, that feathers would become a bit more of a hindrance for thermoregulation or controlling their body temperature. Obviously that varies probably a lot between habitats and stuff like that. But that would be one of the main things that would kind of decrease or be an issue with thermoregulating. And there are a few dinosaurs that have feathered ancestors that, of course, would cover that, threshold. Things like Dinosaurus, Therizinosaurus, and a lot of these large Acrocanthosaurs and Tyrannosaurs or stuff like that. So a lot of those larger Tyrannosaurs. So things potentially like Albertosaurus would be pushing it. Eutyranus is about the same size as around the same size as Albertosaurus or something like that, generally. But once you get to the larger 10 meters plus, things like Tyrannosaurus, it's become a question whether they did or didn't have feathers. And the Therizinosaurus is probably kind of included in that debate. But I really like how they do it here. It's pretty much just fits it, and I think the skin on this guy just looks so amazing. I actually really like the design, at least the skin design in the game here. The red and the black go so well together. I think they did a pretty good job. Alright, so we're going to move on from these guys. These are all the herbivores done. All these herbivores were done by Narwhaler. Next up, we've got some carnivores. These carnivores, these are both replacements, so you're going to have to replace the original files in your game. This is Wheat Baryonyx. I'm sure you guys remember this from the first couple games, but it's been re-released for Jurassic World Evolution 3, with some changes that we'll get into.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome the Baryonyx to the park.
Alright, brilliant. So, if you guys remember the original Jurassic World site, you had pictures of the Baryonyx on the site. It was obviously, this is probably before the abomination that was the Fallen Kingdom Baryonyx was designed, which doesn't even really look like a Baryonyx. This was the one that was on the site. And this was originally done by Julius Chittany, who is a well-accomplished paleo artist. I kind of already mentioned him with the Borealis Pelta. But he did a really good job designing this one, and Wheat has brought it to now, I'm pretty sure, all 3 games. Both Jurassic World Evolution 1, 2, and now 3. And you can see it's got some changes there. The patterns fit absolutely beautifully on this one. You change it's different. You can see, look at that one. I have to say that is so impressive how I made it change. Like that looks I wouldn't be surprised if you had a real animal look like that. I think that's insanely impressive. Looks very Black Monitor like, and you know that's come out really, really well. I'm definitely a huge fan. And what I really like is the little bits of sexual dimorphism there. You can see the little quills on the head and the arms of the male, and then you can see the female over here. And yeah, it's obviously as well being from a paleo artist with very great anatomy. You can see you've got this very, very, long, more crocodile-like snout rather than the wide alligator snout. Much more S-shaped neck, much larger front limbs, much more of a kind of sail going on, much longer tail, none of that crocodile armor going on. But yeah, I think it looks quite good. Another great mod, Wheat, always killing it. I'm really excited because Wheat has made some pretty awesome mods for Jurassic World Evolution 2. I wonder how many he will port to 3 or how many new ones he'll make, because Wheat is definitely one that's, I'm really excited to see more mods from them. I'm kind of excited to see what people are going to come to Jurassic World Evolution 3 when it's over its life cycle. Yeah, very, very cool. So we'll let that run off and do its thing. Next up, we've got another replacement. This is Majungasaurus. This is based off the prehistoric planet, Majungasaurus. We all love prehistoric planet. This is done by Microceratus Gaming.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is another one that's, come out quite well. It is Majungasaurus, but remember, this is based off the prehistoric planet design. I don't think any of them really 100% fit them, but you can see there's definitely some changes there. Much more accurate, because obviously the ones in prehistoric planet were pretty scientifically accurate for the most part, even though there were some changes and things because, time happens. Like the Carnotaurus, the Carnotaurus, that showed to be a bit different. But the Majungasaurus design still holds up, especially for the second season. It came out really, really well. I really love this thicker neck. The original one in the game's a lot thinner. It's definitely got a bit of a bulk up. The arms are correct as well. You can see often in the game, in the original game, they hold them almost like normal Abelisaurids or normal theropod arms. Typically, they would hold their arms like this. That's how they would in life. Very, very stubby. Very, very long body. That definitely longer tail. You can see it kind of droops. So that means they made the tail a bit longer. And you can also see a little bit of a sausage body. So it really makes it fit the much more accurate prehistoric planet design. So definitely a big fan. Highly recommend this one. It's nice to see Microceratus Gaming back. I haven't seen Microceratus in a while. Always love to see their mods coming out. Next up, we got another mod by Narwhaler. I thought it'd fit better with the other bigger theropods, so we've got here Acrocanthosaurus. Here you go. This is the Acrocanthosaurus. Let's take a picture there. You can see it's definitely had a bit of a facelift and a bit of a, liposuction. You can see that face fits much better with what we actually know of the Acrocanthosaurus. Not much less bulky. This one's getting a bit leaner and meaner. Actually fits quite well. And you can see I really like how they did the sail here. Perfect amount of it's not like super round and lumpy, but it's, it has definitely got the right amount of soft tissue in my opinion. Change the S-curve neck. Arms came out quite well. All very, very well. I think that is come out, We've got a lot of Acrocanthosaurus remasters and stuff like that in the past, but I think this is a great one to finally come to Jurassic World Evolution 3. So if you want something a bit more proper, not like the overbloated design for Jurassic, the original Frontier design, that's something that fits quite well for you. And last and certainly not least, we've got a new dinosaur coming out. This is Eocarcharia. This is Eocarcharia. It's a very interesting dinosaur with a very interesting story. Again, this is done by Master Doot. Master Doot seems to be kind of monopolizing or taking over the scene at the moment with Jurassic World Evolution 3. But don't worry, we'll see plenty more models to come. So this is Eocarcharia, which means dawn shark, is an extinct genus of theropod dinosaur from now the Western Tenere Desert of Nigeria. Niger, not Nigeria. It was known from several skull bones collected in 2000 as an expedition from the early Cretaceous Alars Formation by Paul Sereno, and then was described in 2008 by Sereno and Steve Brussetti, and was contained in the single species Eocarcharia dinops. And while Sereno and Brissett identified all the remains belonging to a new Carcharodontosaurus dinosaur, like this one here, turns out later studies showed that the actual species was actually chimeric. Which means, if you know what the chimera is in Greece, it was more two types of animals put together. So the specimen is actually two different animals. The dentary and stuff like that was actually from a Carcharodontosaurid, but the other parts, there was some parts of the material that likely belonged to a Baryonyx Spinosaurid. And that would render Eocarcharia a member of this group, more like Suchomimus. So this is the old interpretation. Technically, Eocarcharia would be much more like a, Baryonyx. But the other description, the other holotype, or the other material is definitely from a Carcharodontosaurid, so it's likely it would have been that. So likely we wouldn't know that much about it, but it was a relative of things like Carcharodontosaurus and Acrocanthosaurus, and was not particularly huge, about 6 to 8 meters long. So not a particularly huge animal, but still big enough to easily kill a person. Not like the giants Carcharodontosaurus and Giganotosaurus, but still a fairly large animal. And so a lot of the research, like the specimen that is the Spinosaurid, but had a very large brow ridge, which is very characteristic of Giganotosaurids and Giganotosaurus and Mapusaurus and all those guys. But actually is also found in Spinosaurus, so it's easy that it could be confused, which I found quite cool as well. The maxilla, though, the referred maxilla, is definitely belonged to a Carcharodontosaurid. The brow ridge and all the kind of post-orbital, the other stuff that was described, is from a Spinosaurid as well. So as a Carcharodontosaurid, it fits within, as I mentioned, Carcharodontosauridae. Its closest relatives are Neovenator, and then it's like an early ancestor to things like Lahavenator and Acrocanthosaurus, leading into those other ones. The Spinosaurid part is Baryonyx. So Baryonyx Spinosaurids related to things like Baryonyx as well. And my screen turned off just because I closed it too much, but that's okay. Yeah, that's really, really cool. But in terms of where these guys were found, they're known from the Lars Formation in the Nigerian Tingara Desert, with this sediments being quite coarse, and they would have lived during the mid-Cretaceous, and the area itself would have been likely floodplains. And this species would have lived with dinosaurs you're probably quite familiar with, such as Afromimus, Elysiosaurus, Oranosaurus, Ludosaurus, Nigerosaurus, and lots of different species of crocodilians, such as Stylocosuchus, Sarcosuchus, and Aperosuchus, and that's a really, really cool assortment of animals. So yeah, definitely a big fan of how this one's come out. Another really cool new species. So yeah, I think this is a great place to end the video. So I'm going to thank everyone. Thank you, Narwhaler, for all your different remasters. I'm really excited to see what stuff will be coming next as well. Thank you, Wheat, for your Baryonyx, and Megarix Gaming for your Majungasaurus. And thank you, Master Duke, for really pumping out those really, really cool new species that I get to highlight in these in these videos. So yeah, I really, really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like and subscribe. Always click that little bell icon to get notified of anything. See if you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye-bye.